Alright, hello again learners. In this video we're going to continue our series on visualizing data, and we're now going to talk about making a scatter plot. And so before we talked about, specifically with this data set here, using a correlation. And we correlated the scores on a reading state test with the scores of a math state test, and we saw there was a positive correlation. And you can also remember that we correlated the scores from the math test and the TV hours, and we saw there was a negative correlation, and we saw that as TV hours increased, math state test scores decreased. And so today we're going to practice visualizing this data. So the first thing that you need to do is, again, select your data. And so here we're just going to go ahead and highlight both of the columns that we want to use. And then we have to be thankful we're using Excel because it automates this process for us. You guessed it, come up here, we did the histogram with the column, we used the bar chart to display the two results of the t-test, so that way we could compare and talk about it. This time we're coming over here to scatter. And so we're going to pick this simple scatter plot for now, and it's going to help us make this nice chart. But we have to do a little bit of work to get it where we want it. All of our values are clustered in this top right quadrant. And so what we need to do is adjust the axes over here. And so click on one of the values and get it to select. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to format axis. And I want you to change this product here to 70 as the lower. And we'll change this to, let's say, 105. And we'll close. And now you can see the axis change. And we'll do the same thing with the horizontal axis. So format chart area. Something didn't happen correctly there. Format axis. 70. And 105. Just that way we can have it similar. And so now you can see we're starting to have a lot better looking chart. So again, let's change our title to make sure it makes sense. And we'll just say this is the correlation of math and, well, this is not a correlation, this is just our plot of math and reading test scores by student. Again, this is something that we don't need, but as we come over here, we should again add our data labels. Our axis titles, and so we can display that to the side and below, and so we'll call this one math test, and then for our vertical we'll call this one our reading test. That doesn't look very pretty, we can change that later. And we'll change it now. There, that's much better. Now also too, when you come over here, we can see we have a couple different options. This is kind of the option we have now where we have the scatter plots, but we can also draw our line of best fit. Instead, you can kind of see here for our regression line where that's going to go. And so if we wanted to predict a math score from a reading score, it would likely fall along this line within this much error. But we'll talk about that in another lesson. And so you can come back here, and of course, we can change the colors again. We can change the titles and the tick marks. But yeah, you have a whole bunch of options here with your chart, and we can even make the colors similar to the previous chart we had made. But now I'd say we're all ready. We could even do this too with the math and the TV hours, but the line, though, would be trending downward. And so now you can see here, as math test score increases, so does reading score. If we come over here, we can also label our data. And so that way, maybe if you have a presentation and people would like to know what your data is, maybe at a research conference, you can show that off. And I think that's all I want to explain for the scatter plots. And so you'll have enough now to do your homework. But feel free to send me any emails so I can answer your questions. We'll see you in the next video.